So today you're joining me from my desk for the first time because we're talking about something very, very fun, textbooks. So I figured since I just finished volume 2 of Learning Mandarin Chinese Characters by Tuttle that I should do a review of both of these books because these have actually been pretty instrumental in my Mandarin journey. So as some backstory, I've been studying Mandarin since I was 14 years old, but I didn't get actually serious until right before my 17th birthday, so 16, but like pretty much 17. So with that being said, I've been studying Mandarin for about a year and a half because I'm 18. And my birthday's in August, and right now it's April. So about a year and a half-ish, a little bit over. So with a bit of an introduction out of the way, let's get into reviewing these. So the first thing that I want to say about these books is that they're really travel friendly. This is probably my favorite thing about them. They're quite thin, probably like 1.5 centimeters, and about the size, I think they're like 8 by 10, maybe a little bit bigger. Which is really nice because a lot of textbooks and workbooks are absolutely huge. For example, the other Tuttle Learning Chinese Character book, which I also have, which is about the size of a dictionary. So it doesn't travel quite as well because it's not thin. Plus, on the inside, there's no dedicated writing space, which is something really great about this because it's a workbook. So let me find a page. There are little boxes for you to practice the characters in. So if you can't have your actual Mandarin notebook or journal, you can still practice the characters on your own when you're somewhere. So I've actually brought this with me on a trip before. I went on a trip to Virginia last July, and I was using this textbook. I was writing characters in the airport, which sounds really dorky now that I say it out loud, but it was cool, and I actually remember those characters really well because I associate them with like being a weirdo in public. So the second thing on my list of stuff about this textbook is that I really like that the exercises aren't daunting. So just about every textbook or workbook will come with exercises, and the ones in here are pretty simple. I'll show you the other side. So there's a lot of just like practicing how the characters are written, practicing vocabulary, and simple sentence making, which is really nice because sometimes in textbooks they'll have like 70 questions in the exercise for each like little unit of a lesson, which is really daunting and makes me super like, I don't want to do it, I'm gonna mess up. So it's nice to have simple exercises. The third aspect of this textbook that I want to mention is that it has 2 different indexes, which is really useful. There's an English and Chinese index, and then there's also a pinyin index. So if you remember like sui, but you don't know what the character looks like or what it means in English, you can still find it in the index, and vice versa. Have I mentioned that this is an overwhelmingly positive review? The next aspect of these books that I'm really fond of is that they correspond to HSK levels. If you can see right there, it says HSK level 1, and then the second one says HSK, can you guess? Level 5, level 2. So I haven't actually taken the HSK, but I have taken practice tests and I've done really, really well on them. And I would accredit a good amount of that to these books, and also Lingo Deer. I have a Lingo Deer review. The next thing that I really like about these is that it shows alongside the like simplified character, the radical and the traditional character, which is really useful to me because I have like a radical based organization system for a bunch of flashcards. If you want to see that, please ask me. I'll make a video about it. And also I'm very interested in traveling to like Hong Kong and Taiwan, and they use a lot of traditional characters there, so it's good to know the traditional alongside the simplified, because some of these characters do not look alike. This next aspect is very important to me because I am a big note taker, and it is that while these are workbooks, they're conducive to taking separate notes. So let me find you a good page of notes. All right. So here's how I take notes on these books. I will write the character in a line down here. Then I believe that I do the pinyin. I actually can't see. And then I do the English, I think. And then I'll do the like associated words right here. So it's really good to be able to take separate notes on a workbook, because I can't retain stuff if I don't write it. P.S. Do you appreciate the calligraphy-ish hand lettering on the front of my Chinese notebook? I really like it. I think it's cute. I don't know. Just thought I'd show it off. Next is the only real negative to these books, which is that there's like no grammar, but that kind of comes with the territory of them being learning Mandarin Chinese characters books. So I didn't expect there to be a lot of grammar, but if you want like an all-in-one sort of thing where you can learn grammar and like vocabulary and also all those like weird little minutia of languages, this isn't the book. But if you want to know characters, this is probably the book for you. This next thing is another positive about the book, and it's that there are a few idioms in here, which is good because Chinese idioms are totally not the same as English ones. So it's good to get a head start on learning idioms because there's a bunch of them and people use them often, and some of them kind of only make sense in Chinese. And this last thing is like not a positive or a negative, but just like a thing that I wanted to put out there. And it's that in the little writing boxes, I would really appreciate if they had diagonal lines as well, because like there's the paper where it's like a square and then it's cut into 4 squares, but then there's also the paper where it's cut into 8 pieces with 2, you know, lines like that and then 2 diagonal lines. And I like that paper a lot for working on characters because it really helps me with spacing, but you can just buy that paper separately, so it's not really a positive or a negative to this book because it's very easily remedied by buying some paper. You may have noticed when I was showing you the inside of my book that I don't actually write in the books that much. And that's because A, I like to take separate notes, and B, I've made the executive decision to save these for when I'm like traveling or having just like a super busy day where I'll have like 20 minutes to do something in like Starbucks or whatever. So I only write in them then. So to actually practice the characters, I bought this thing called a boogie board, and it's like a little tablet doodad that you can write on with a little stylus, and I use it for practicing characters. So I'll just kind of sit around and I'll be like 1, 2, 3, 4, oh god, ugly, ooh, and I'll just kind of do that when I'm learning characters. So I'll look in the book, I'll copy it down into my separate notes, and then I'll just sit there and I'll just drill like E, 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 and then that'll be just how I do that, in case you were wondering. By the way, my handwriting is a whole lot better than what you just saw on here just now. That was like panicked scribbling, not even like actual characters. So overall, I would give Learning Mandarin Chinese Characters Volumes 1 and 2 by Tuttle like a 4.9 out of 5 stars. Because I think that they do everything that you need them to do. I think they are super useful. I think they're really nice. They're good quality. Just everything about them. The only thing I'd like would be smoother paper and like maybe diagonal lines. But the diagonal lines, you don't need the diagonal lines. But I would like some smoother paper, but that's just because I'm a stationery snob. Other than that, they're like perfect. I love these books. So thank you so much for watching. I hope that this video was useful for you. I hope that this maybe persuaded you to buy these books or work on your Chinese more or anything. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. My name is Micah. I have a website, dearmicah.com. I always pop it up here. You can follow me on Instagram at Dear Micah. It's all Dear Micah, DearMikah. And if you'd like more stuff like this, like the video or like leave a comment or something, I'll figure it out. But thank you so much. I'll see you again later, and I'll see you for the next day of VEDA while I'm vlogging every day in April. Bye-bye. By the way, stand twice.